Okay. All right. If I can have everybody's attention, please. We're going to get started. I've got 4:30. Today is Monday, March the 26th, and today is a combined work session and call meeting for the White County Board of Commissioners. We're doing a combined meeting tonight because of spring break being next week. We will not be having a meeting a week from today, so we're going to attempt to hear most all the items of business this evening. If we are unable to do so, we'll have to do a called meeting at a later date, but we'll make that decision as we get toward the end of the meeting. If you would, please silence your cell phones. Yes, Commissioner Goodger, that does include you as well. For those who, after the meeting, I will explain what that's all about. So if there's a joke up here that I'll leave it alone. If you would, please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, for our invocation, I'd like Ms. Cheryl Kennedy with the Bridge Church, as well as representing the White County Ministerial Alliance. Ms. Cheryl, you have the hill.
Go bow your heads with me. Oh, Father God, I just ask your blessing upon this meeting, Father, and just ask that you give us creative minds, Father, that you would help us to work together in unity, to be able to serve the people of White County, Father. And we just ask your blessing as we just continue forth for each of our commissioners, Father, and all of those that work here within the county, and all of the employees, Father, that serve on a daily basis, the people here that live in Cleveland, Lord. We just ask your blessing upon them, that we may honor you and serve you and do right in your eyes, Father. We thank you in Christ's name. Amen.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Before we get any further on our agenda, I do want to take a moment, and I believe it's appropriate, to recognize the passing of our former governor and U.S. Senator Zell Miller. We are losing more of this generation, it seems like every week, and our area in North Georgia is reaping still the benefits of Governor Miller, Senator Miller's work over the years, and also will recognize he is also the father of our Superior Chief Court Judge Murphy Miller, and we want to convey our condolences to the family. We understand Governor Miller had some health issues the last couple of years, but he had a large shadow in our state, and we appreciate his family allowing him to serve the citizens of Georgia. So, moving on, item 4. And before I move forward, we do have copies of our agenda. If you don't have a copy, we have extra copies on the podium up front. This evening, we do have, just note, we do have a public hearing that we'll be conducting here in a little bit, and as usual, I'll go over the format of which we operate these public hearings. I'll go over that in a little bit as well. Moving on, item 4, consider adopting the minutes of the February 26, 2018 work session, as well as the called meeting, including executive session minutes. Gentlemen, I hope you've had an opportunity to review those minutes. If so, do I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? Commissioner Bryant first, Commissioner Holcomb second. Any discussion, notations we need to be making? All right, have none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to our presentations, recognitions, and proclamations portion of our meeting. At item 5, Mr. Ryan Foote, U.S. Forest Service District Ranger, to update the board on current and future Forest Service projects in White County. Ryan, you have the deal.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate the allowing me to come down here to introduce myself. I am the new district ranger on the Chattooga River Ranger District. I started my job here about a year ago. It's taken me quite a while to get down here. So let me first off apologize that it's taken me this long to get down here. From this point going forward, I will be attending these meetings as regularly as I can in all my units. It's sometimes easy to get stuck up there in the mountains where I live, but I'm going to be making that commitment going forward.
Well, next time you come down to make up for taking so long to get here, I like my steak medium well as you come by the Deer Lodge.
Yeah, okay.
I love medium well, be fine.
I'll work on that.
Okay.
So I've been here for going on a year right now. Moved here from North Idaho, up near the Canadian border, with my wife. My wife and I live in Raven County, and couldn't be happier to be here. The only thing I'm sad about is it took me 40 years to figure out that North Georgia even existed. And but it's paradise, and I'm good to be here. So that being said, over the last year, I've been really kind of getting down in the weeds with my staff that I have on my district, trying to get an understanding of what are the issues here in North Georgia, how best can the agency in my district, that ranger district in particular, kind of incorporate ourselves into these local communities, meeting the needs of the public and recreational folks coming from all over the world to recreate on us. We had an opportunity this last summer during the solar eclipse, which impacted White County quite a bit, that we got some world culture coming here to North Georgia. It's a nice exposure for us and for my staff as well. And what I wanted to talk about today is kind of where I see White County, how White County in particular, kind of what is its niche here in the forest. The resources that we have in White County on Forest Service lands, it's a recreation and access destination between Mark Trail Wilderness, Raven Cliffs Wilderness, Anaruby Falls, Unicoi State Park, Iona Mountain, Appalachian Trail, on and on and on, Chattahoochee WMA. It should be the jewel that we put out to everyone in the nation about come to North Georgia, and this is an area you can go. And then you add in the town of Helen on top of that. It's a destination location. And over my first 12 months here, it's been a recreation and access issue that we've been trying to get a handle on. What I told myself I'm not going to do here today is come down and tell you how broke we are. I'm not going to do that, but that we are struggling to meet the demands and meet the necessary maintenance and backlog of that maintenance and improvements to actually give this area and these resources what it needs. So it's going to be an ongoing battle that I want to work with the county and local residents here on how best can we manage this not only today, but over the next 20, 50 years. I have no plans to leave. As long as they keep my job here, I'm not leaving. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's always an opportunity somewhere down the line, but I have no plan to leave. And so I'm looking forward to working on these issues for many years to come. Now to get into some of the specifics. Not this Saturday, but the Saturday before, we had a tornado come through White County. And where that hit, it began at the Upper Chattahoochee campground up there in the WMA. And it leveled it. It leveled it. And I feel very lucky that I had that campground closed at that time and the road closed because of resource damage. It's been in some of the local papers. And we got lucky. It would have been, I'd be here under different circumstances if that campground was open. That being said, we're currently conducting assessments of hazard trees and needed work to repair that campground. Along with that road, that upper section of Forest Service Road 44 from Chattahoochee Campground up to the Unicoi Gap on Highway 17. That portion of the road is still closed. We're assessing it for salvage operations. We do have a lot of trees that came down that we're looking at to see if there's opportunities and value within that wood for a small operator to come out, do a small salvage sale. Within the campground along that road and any other areas outside of the wilderness where we can quickly get a contract out, try to get some lumber out for especially a local small operators, ideally where we can put that. But it's going to be closed for a bit of time. I'll have more information on that, kind of a timeline on when we think we'll be able to open up that whole road segment and the campground later this week. The reason why, and I know there's been quite a bit of press the past couple of weeks when I closed down that road from Poplar Stump all the way up to the top, was resource damage. We've had an extremely wet year, about average, I guess, but a lot wetter than we had last year. And the amount of pressure we're getting on our roads from people just following the rules, going out there driving on the roads, that's fine. But we have seen a huge uptick in some of that OHV use. If we want to continue to do that, that's what we provide. We provide that opportunity, we want to maintain that. But there's under current budget scenarios, I've got to be, in some ways, try to run this district as a business. And we know that we're going to have to repair that road. The amount of maintenance that we have to do is sometimes reflective of how much use it's getting. And where I can strategically shut down a road for a certain amount of time during wet weather conditions, try to reduce some of those impacts, it allows us to go in there quick to button that up. But as it currently sits right now, last Friday I did open up Low Gap Campground, and then the 44 road up to 44D, which is almost to Upper Chat Campground. Tried to get that open and prioritize that for turkey season, which opened up on Saturday. So that's going to be an area I've worked with DNR and some of our partners on addressing those issues. We're asking people's patience on that. We know it's a priority for recreational opportunities, and we're going to try to get that open as soon as we can. To add on to it, though, I do have one landslide on that section of road, which there's a pretty high risk that we could lose the whole road segment. So I'm working with my engineers, contract engineers, to assess and come up with a plan to repair that slide. But I don't have the money, and we're going for that money right now as we sit. So I have a meeting tomorrow with my engineer to finalize that plan. So it's going to be moving. We're going to be changing a lot. I'll try to continue press releases and work with the commissioners. Any way you guys want me to continue to deliver information directly to the county, I'm more than welcome to do that. Some of the other priorities that we're looking at this year, we're obviously going to be doing a lot of trail work on the Appalachian Trail work on the Raven Cliffs Wilderness, and also on Dukes Creek platform. We have a platform down there that got destroyed a number of years ago, and we're trying to acquire those funds to rebuild that area as well. And then just a lot of other road maintenance. Trey Mountain has gotten quite a bit of press recently from some of the residents up there. I've been working with them on a daily basis. I get emails and phone calls with them, and I love that. I love that kind of interaction from the public. Because you guys there's more eyes out in the woods from the public than there is from my staff. And I can get a lot of information real time from you guys calling me or emailing me. And so please do that. But we're able to button up that Trey Mountain Road, at least the west side that leads from the bottom up to the houses. We don't have the ability at this point to open up that bottom end, which is Chimney Rock Mountain, which just comes down the east side of Trey Mountain. That's going to remain closed for a period of time until it really starts drying out, and I can get into a vehicle, because my truck won't even get up that road. I need to go look at that to see what opportunities there are to fix that. So that's one of those OHV areas that gets a lot of traffic. We know that. And I'm trying to find a balance between reasonable access and that challenging OHV access, which a lot of our public want. They don't want to be on smooth roads. They want to have challenging terrain, muddy conditions. But I have to balance that with what my forest plan and what the laws and regulations say that they hold me to. And so I'm trying to work through that, and I need to do some outreach with some of the local Jeep groups in North Georgia and Central Georgia over the next couple of months to kind of just how can we work together. So yeah, right now for fiscal year 18, it's a recreation and access issue that I'm driving within White County. We're always looking for vegetation projects to also start planning for strategically across the forest. But right now, as a forest, our #1 priority is this Foothills Landscape Restoration Project. Very little of it, I think, is going to affect White County. It's kind of a little bit to the north of us here. But that's going to drive, it's about a 144,000 acre project area. Not all those acres would be treated, but it's a big gulp project is what we like to call it. It'll set up our timber forest restoration for about 10 years. But outside of that, I'm always looking for other opportunities within all these counties to try to spread out that wealth because timber sales within counties, there's things that come along with that, with timber receipts, things of that nature. And so I want to spread that love around as much as I can. So, want to introduce myself. Thank you for having me, and I'll take any questions from the board if you guys have them.
Let me, David, have y'all met, spoke? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we spoke.
Okay. What I'd like to see, if you don't mind, Ryan, is, especially on access roads and what have you, we know the press has been out there,
Yeah.
everybody mud bogging, as much rain we've had, they're just tearing the roads up. We get that,
Yeah.
we do. But when you guys, I'd encourage you, please reach out to David, Emergency Management, our county staff, Mr. Melton, our county manager. If you could let us know as you can, we're not, communication means a lot.
Yeah.
Kind of helps us because, we're having to send a lot of our folks to response, to folks in their short shorts, not prepared for hiking, biking in the middle of the mountains, and we're out, in the middle of the night trying to rescue these folks. So any access points you can help us out communication-wise would be great.
I completely agree, and we had one of those issues last Thursday with somebody up there as well that wasn't sure if it was behind a lock gate or not. So definitely an opportunity for me to improve that communication, and we'll discuss that today and work that through. So.
Got any comments or anything?
I guess I should take the time, since you brought up going out to rescue folks. I do want to thank the county and the EMS department within all my counties that manage the forces in. You guys, the counties and the local EMS take the brunt of that search and rescue.
Thank
Not
you.
us.
I appreciate you saying that out loud. Yes, thank you.
And you guys need to be recognized for that, especially with the AT. It's AT season. I'd be curious to know what kind of numbers we're getting. And I think even though there's opportunities for us to partner in that, it's kind of a weird scenario in terms of providing funding or personnel. Where we can find those solutions and work together, I'm all about that. And so yeah, but you guys deserve a thank you. I should bring you 2 steaks for everybody.
Yeah, making 2 states, everybody, especially, are you good with that?
I'm great with that.
All right. No, we're going to give our firefighters, emergency personnel, those are the heroes. So, that's who deserves the credit. So, yeah, bring in 3 steaks now. So, you're going to owe us some money for this is over. So, but thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Go ahead.
I've got one question. Since
Yeah.
you've been in your term, who's leading the way in the rescues in county? Who's got the most calls?
So,
Do you know right off?
I don't know right off. I would say that those counties that have the Appalachian Trail in there are probably leading that way. Raven County gets quite a few in the Chattooga River area, a lot of kayakers, people trying to kayak down that should have no business being on that river. But I would say White County is probably near the top, and that is something, something I've been discussing with Betty Jewett, my forest supervisor, some of my fellow rangers over in South Carolina and up in Blue Ridge, because we know the impact that it has on county budgets, supporting the EMS program. Not only the budgets, but just the personnel as well, the volunteers, and just drive them hard, and for the right reasons. And I'm curious, and maybe I'm willing to have meetings with the county EMS programs on how we can better partner on this. How do we share that type of information? If there are hot spots where your EMS is seeing repeated issues, what are we doing? Is there something we can do differently? Do we need to provide better access? Or is better signage? Or how can we try to get ahead of this to reduce some of those calls and the burden on the county budgets? I don't know what that is, but I'd love to have the conversation.
Also, when you guys set that meeting up, just please include the sheriff's department, because they do a lot of our traveling around those areas as well, probably more so than, don't take us the wrong way, your own staff does.
Yeah. No.
And just being real. So
Yeah, no.
when we do that, let's include the sheriff's department and all those conversations, please. All right? Anything else? Right, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Moving on to our item 6 on our agenda. Mr. Kevin Hanby, our SPLOST manager, present the monthly SPLOST status report and information for the 2020 SPLOST process. That's going to be tab 6 in our package, gentlemen. Kevin, you got the hill.
Afternoon.
Well, the computer is locked up for the first time ever. Let's see.
How's it going, Kevin?
It's going good.
It's going great.
I mean, I can generally tell you that everything on the SPLOST presentation that's coming up hopefully soon is pretty much in line with the plan that we are set for. We'll have the next disbursement will be coming this week. So the presentation that might should have been there.
Right. No, we're fine.
Is through February. But through February, everything's good. The checks are coming in, above projections. Very similar to the report we've given in the past.
Well, just so you know, in our packet, we have that report through the end of February, so we have that in front of us. So even though it's not, for those in the public, it's not out here. And we will make that readily available if you'd like a copy of it, if we can't get technology to cooperate here in a few minutes.
So one other thing I'd like to add is in reports prior to this, we had a line item for the prior SPLOST, older SPLOST, that's been allocated to the Young Preserve project through a prior meeting, and that project is fully funded. We should be seeing some activity out there in the next week or so. Notice of intent's been filed with EPD. Everything's going pretty good on that, so they should be mobilizing and should see activity, like I said, in about a week. They've already
started moving some stuff out there last week.
They're getting their ducks in a row administratively. John said he's getting some submittals and some other things along those lines. So that's going pretty good.
Okay, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen.
Tell you what, once we get it cranked up, let's go ahead and move on to the 2020 discussion.
Oh, you wanna do that first?
Well, we just discussed while y'all were working on the current presentation, so let's move on to 2020.
There's a 2014 zone.
I understand. Let's move on to 2020.
All right. We had a meeting with the cities on March 19th to kick off the initiative for the new SPLOST. Again, this is the presentation that was done with the cities. Our current estimate falls in line with where we're receiving checks program to date, which is going to be right around $325,000 a month, which would yield a program of $23,400,000. We think that's a good conservative number. The hope is that the checks come in a little bit higher than that. But in terms of a referendum development process, we would go a little conservative, $325,000 a month. Potential county projects would be, as you see there, and again, this is just a general list of the things that you would see on the referendum. With the courthouse renovation addition being a level 1 project, the remainder is very similar to the program that we're working under right now. So it'd be very similar to that. Here's our proposed timeline. These are all related back to the statutory requirements related to a SPLOST referendum. We had our official meeting confer with municipalities on the 19th. We're working on the list of projects now for the intergovernmental agreement with estimates. We're scheduled to meet again on or around mid-April to try to finalize the intergovernmental agreement, Exhibit A. The goal is to execute that intergovernmental agreement in the time frame you see there by no later than May 7th, which would allow the board to issue a resolution calling for the tax levy on or before July 16th. So,
And the gentleman, just notation, the reason why July 16th is kind of a hot button. That's the last date. I believe Judge Baker has stated that he needs the resolution to call for that vote so that he can have it on the November ballot. And for those in the audience, what we're trying to do in an attempt, a lot of folks may wonder, why are we talking about a 2020 SPLOST? Well, we tried to vote on this 2 years at the same time that we're having an existing election. You don't, this is our opinion, you don't want to have a special election, have your poll workers come out, let's kill two birds with one stone, and let's have the efficient use of those funds. So let's have the vote at the general election in November. So that's why we're trying to, we're guiding the ship toward this way. Go ahead, Kevin, sorry.
That's right. I mean, you just save costs and everything else when putting on an election year, where you're already going to be staffing the polls and those kind of things. Another items we want to go ahead and try to get this thing done a little early in case by chance it does not pass. And we'll still have an opportunity, we'll have an opportunity to tweak things, maybe rework things.
Lock down again.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it turn quiet. I knew something.
That was it generally. I mean, that was the presentation that we just saw, the presentation that was given to the cities, and that was done on the 19th. This was an official meeting confer statutory requirement.
One question, just clarification on the projection. You just projecting 23.4, is that what you're suggesting that we advertise?
Yes, sir.
As far as for, I'm gonna ask, what's wrong with going to 25? Because 6 years ago, it was, what, 16, if I'm not mistaken, we projected 22, and we're taking in possibly 22.6. So would it not be better to plan a little bit more?
Well, see, that's where, even though, all right, I know where you're going here. We would rather err on the side of conservatism.
I understand.
Forbid we were to have another recession,
I understand.
that we have forecasted slightly lower. Now, let's be real. Do we anticipate probably getting a little more than that? Yes. But what if we have another recession? And we've advertised, and Kevin can speak better to this, because whatever we get above that initial figure is disseminated percentage-wise under the IGA agreement with the cities of Helen and Cleveland, so everybody's still getting their,
Well, I just want
it doesn't cut it off.
Kevin,
can
because
you-
I mean, next 6 years, the boom might keep going, and we may have 450 months back to
Yeah,
back.
no question. But the money, you know, again, like Travis said, the money does get disseminated pro rata. It just.
It's just a question.
Okay.
So in your experience, this is what you get paid to do, in your experience, better to underfigure than overfigure and not deliver. I need to write that down.
That's kind of the general rule of thumb that for 20 years we've tried to adopt is it's a lot better to under-promise and over-deliver.
Better to have it, not need it, than need it, and not have it.
That's right. That's exactly right. Especially when it comes to a cash flow-based program.
Well, the good thing is when it does go over, it's a windfall for the county and for the city.
And that's exactly right. Exactly right.
Gentlemen, just to have an idea, and before Kevin leaves, and we're going to let him go in a few minutes, you know, the projects are essentially with the addition of the courthouse renovation and possible addition to the back of the existing courthouse. Other than that, it's essentially the same plan that we've got in place currently. Need to get a feeling from you guys, and Kevin, I'm not trying to steal your thunder. We need to get an idea, are you guys comfortable going in this avenue? Because in the next few weeks, we'll be meeting back with the cities to start sharpening our pencils, getting our list together, and Kevin, tell us where we need to go here.
We do have a portion of the intergovernmental agreement that's called the Exhibit A, which is basically the foundation of the agreement. And Shannon's got a draft version of one here
I do.
that we can take a look at. This is what the foundation of the intergovernmental agreement would look like. So there's a list of projects, and if you could scroll down pretty quickly.
We do have that in our package, so just FYI.
Okay. Those would be the general descriptions that you would see that the ballot language would revolve around.
And folks, what we're talking about is the continuation of the 1 cent sales tax. The tax is from 6 to 7. That's what we use for capital projects, not only in the county, but also we've got Tom here from the city of Cleveland, the city of Helen. They use these, the extra cent for capital projects, and it's very beneficial. And it also, the sales tax is also not just paid by us locally, but also it's helped out by our tourist traffic as well. I mean, let's be real. That's what we're all about.
That's probably more money comes from out of the county than it does in the county if you consider Tracy.
It really does. I mean, for an area that's high in tourism and things of that nature.
And the 1 cent also helps us keep it off the general fund for ad valorem tax that helps us with capital projects. So I'm the sheriff. Those who don't attend our meetings on a regular basis, this is why we are advocating the continuation of the 1 cent sales tax. I believe that your sales tax is your fares tax. No matter your creed, color, wherever you're from, you got to pay it when you go to the store. So, anything else?
Yeah, I have one thing that on this list of projects there, I'd just like to have some little line put in here that has something about a library in there, that if future funds were available down the road, that project might be able to look at toward the end of the program. But just, yeah, I think if we had a placeholder item or something in there for some amount.
Kevin, have we planned, and bear with me, I'm going off memory here, that was going to be going underneath either administration or Parks Recreation. Well, we had a discussion about that. I don't remember.
It's been added, there's cultural added on that side, which is not added on our side, so we fall under culture.
Well, theoretically, the library, it was for a facility
Could
type
be,
thing.
could be.
It could go under administration.
Okay.
It could go, come out
I
of that.
just want to be
line.
sure that there was a spot there for it.
Possibly broaden that.
Okay.
Broaden that definition.
But it could definitely, as written, it would fall under administrative facilities.
And I understand you want to keep us as broad to allow that we don't hamstring future boards for not being able to do what they need to do for the money to come in.
Right.
All right. Which, and I'll be candid with you, a library nowadays can be considered a technology. Most folks are leaning towards the technology side of stuff more than brick and mortar for books, because we're now purchasing e-books with SPLOST funds, because people are not buying as many hard copy books. That's free. This is a combined work session and called meeting, so we're in the work session part as well.
We've been doing that for what, 4 years now?
Something like 3-4 years, something like that. Kevin, anything else you need from us?
No, sir, everything's trucking along according to plan.
All right. Great. Anything else? All right. And as we go, as we need to get things narrowed down on our side and make official votes, please let us know as we go further into this, because we want to keep the momentum going. As I know the cities of Cleveland, Helen are working on their list as well, so we all work hand in hand. We can get this thing done. So, and if we have an intergovernmental agreement, this is food for thought for those in the audience. If your county and your municipalities are able to enter into a IGA intergovernmental agreement, state law allows you to go, instead of doing a 5-year SPLOST, it allows you to extend it to a 6-year. So it helps you get an extra year without having to go back and vote again.
Sure.
That's what we were able to do this past term. Instead of 5-year, we got 6 years. So, all right, moving on. Kevin, thanks so much. I appreciate it. All right, deep breath. Now we're going to move on to our land use public hearing. This again is it's a work session and call meeting and public hearing. Item 7, conduct a public hearing on the land use application filed by Key Georgia Properties LLC, 3-district property located at 557 Highway 356, Helen, Georgia 30545, from a R1 residential single-family district to an R3 residential seasonal district. That's tax map parcel H02 D as in dog dash 005 and H02 D as in dog dash 005 A as in apple. Total acres will be 19.32 acres. In present use is R1 residential single-family districts. What we'll do, I sound like those who attend, like I said, every our meetings, I sound like a broken record, but first we'll have our staff, Mr. Sell, will give a brief synopsis of the application, and then I'll ask a representative of the applicant or representative of the applicant to come up, answer any questions the board may have, give their brief synopsis, and then we'll officially go into the public hearing section. The public hearing will offer two different opportunities: those who are here in support and those who could be here in either in opposition or have concerns on the request. I'll offer 3 calls, is what we've called that, opportunities on each one of those. Now, it's not uncommon to have no one make any comments, so don't take that as a negative or a positive. But we got certain hoops we try to jump through so that we're, from one month to the next month, each applicant is receiving the same and fair treatment under county ordinances. And then we are in a called meeting. I will give the board an opportunity to vote on that, so we can either vote in support or to decline or vote to table. I don't know that yet till we get a little further into it. So, John, I've rambled on enough now. Will you move forward, please?
Yes, sir. You see the legal description. We are going for a rezoning from R1 residential, single-family residential, to R3, which is our seasonal residential. The total acreage is 19.32 acres. The proposal is to put 17 what I call elevated cabin rentals, or AKA tree houses. They're actually going to put them on platforms and wrap them in fiberglass to make them look like trees, is the proposal. This did have a public hearing before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they did recommend for approval. And the future land use for that area is tourism, commercial / second home residential, so it does meet the future land use in the comprehensive land use plan. And Mr. Harvey Cohen with Key Properties is here to represent the applicants. So with that.
All right, gentlemen, before John's, if you got any questions at this moment? If not, I'll have Mr. Cohen. Mr. Cohen?
Yes, sir.
You got the hill and name and your address, and we'll go from there.
Well, my name is Harvey Cohen. I 288 Not La Vista, Roman numeral 1, Blairsville, Georgia.
All right. Kind of what, give us a synopsis what you guys are wanting to do, what's your plans on the property. You know, I know John's giving us a little bit of information. Just kind of, what do you want?
Well, I think John said it pretty accurately. We plan on building 17 tree houses. They're not going to really be tree houses. They're going to look like tree houses. They're not going to go into the trees. We're going to go between the trees and build them on a platform. We're working on getting fiberglass to make them look like trees, and sort of like you've seen them in these fishing stores and all that stuff. And we're pretty excited about it, to be honest with you. And I don't know, Eddie is the project manager on it, and he's excited about it. So.
Do you, and while we're up here, and before I get to, do you anticipate, when I was looking at the plat and survey, do you plan on, apparently you're planning on subdividing the lots? By one of the surveys that, if I read correctly, it was very small in our packet, so I'm trying to read it. Are you going to sell those lots individually once you?
No, I think it's going to be one
Okay.
with 1 per acre or a little more, but we can get,
Right.
based on the surveyor, I think we can get 17 on there, all will be an acre or more.
But you don't plan at this time selling those
No.
individually. Where I'm going with that is, if we're able to rezone this or reclassify it this evening for seasonal, we will be very careful that they don't become permanent residences, because that's not what it would be zoned for. Does that make
No,
sense?
it's
Ron?
one piece of property with 17 rental properties that are being owned by Key Georgia Properties.
Thank you. The road and access, and again, the survey, I could only see so much. I could make, how wide is the access point? It's going to be the road going into, and where I'm going with this is looking at for fire or emergency access. Do you know?
Well, the entrance, we had a preliminary talk with Georgia Dock, and they're going to specify that, I guess, but what we have to do coming off of the,
DCL lane or what have you?
I think we've got to put a new lane in across there. And as far as the road going, feeding these things, I know that we have to make them for the emergency vehicle. I think it was 20 feet. So whatever that will be is what we're gonna make it.
All right. Guys, if you have any questions at this time, feel free to jump in. I'm not driving the bus here, so.
Let me make one note that we will go through a full plan review committee if this is approved for rezoning. We did a preliminary, but we'll do a full-blown plan review committee on the site plan to take in all those questions about water, public works.
A lot of questions came out from the package. That's why.
Right, but we have not done a full-blown plan review committee on this yet. We just, rezoning is the first step. Then they'll come back with that site plan. We'll go through all that and ask all those questions and give them a chance to ask the questions of the committee as well.
Good.
Okay.
Well,
Just freak on the plan, where you running wells, or you gonna have county water brought up at that site, county water in?
We had at the first meeting, we're planning on bringing in.
Okay, so now where's it stop at, Fred's up there? To get that far?
Yeah, it stops up Fred's Peanuts.
Which I know it's not that far around the curve, so.
You know, you said we could do it for about $500, so we said, right, no.
Yeah, there you go.
this meeting is being recorded, so.
I was only kidding.
Did you say that?
That was a per foot charge.
Seen them other 3 zeros.
Yeah, I think you're closer.
All right. Okay. Terry, anything at this time?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Feel free to sit down, and I'm going to move on to the public hearing side of it. At this time, we'll open the floor up first, and if there's anyone here in support, I'll offer 3 calls. If you raise your hand and come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and I'll get to you as quickly as possible. So raise your hand if you want to say something. In support this time, in support. Second call. Okay. All right, last call, going once, going twice. All right. Okay, Ms. Shanda, if you'll notate the record that we offered 3 opportunities for anyone to speak in support, and we had no takers. Now we'll move on to those who are either A, have concerns or perhaps are opposed to the land use request. Raise your hand, please. And if you recall at the beginning of the meeting, I said it's not uncommon to not have any comments, sometimes either way. So it's just so awkward up here when we're doing this section. So, all right, second call. Okay, third time. Once, going twice. All right. Ms. Shannon, if you'll notate the record, there were no takers on the opposed or concerned section. So at this time, I will hereby close the public hearing section of this meeting. And before, gentlemen, I move on to item 8, do you have any additional questions before we move on to item 8? Okay. All right. Item 8, I'm going to read this again. We have an opportunity to consider the land use application filed by Key Georgia Properties LLC to redistrict the property located at 557 Highway 356, Helen, Georgia 30545 from R1 to R3, which is a seasonal residential district. Tax map HO2D 005 and HO2D 005. A is an apple, 19.32 acres. And current use is currently R1. Gentlemen, we have an opportunity. You've heard the comments. You've got your package. Do I have a motion to approve the application as presented?
So moved.
Y'all want to fight over that one? I think I heard Commissioner Holcomb first. All right, you want to second? Okay. All right, got a motion, Commissioner Holcomb, second, Commissioner Bryant, for consider the approval of the land use application. We're now in discussion. Gentlemen, do you have any other concerns, questions you'd like to ask at this time? I do want to make note that, just to reiterate what John Sale had said a few minutes ago, the planning board did vote to recommend approval of the application, so I do want to make that footnote as well. Close discussion. All right, gentlemen, all in favor of the motion to approve the going from R1 to R3, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Your application is approved.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it, and look forward to you guys, everyone, investing in our county. We appreciate it, and this lends itself right along with what the U.S. Forest Service, we're trying to get folks out of downtown Atlanta, the concrete jungle, get them up here and spend their money so we can fund our sales tax. I mean, it's all you got to see how it operates. So we appreciate it, and thank you for your investment.
Occasionally we carry one off the on the mountain, sometimes it's way too quick.
Gentlemen, thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to new business, consider request for financial participation from the City of Cleveland related to proposed water service upgrades along the Appalachian Parkway. That's item 9 in our package. Gentlemen, as you recall, I believe it was in January, maybe 1st of February, we as the county had sent letter of support letting the city know that if we could be of any assistance in helping provide communication and or other opportunities to the City of Cleveland to continue the long, nearly 30-year relationship we've had with Frudenberg NOK, and we received a request from the City of Cleveland asking us to participate with the funding of their move from an 8-inch line to a 12-inch line. And I know we have Tom O'Brien, City Administrator for the City of Cleveland. Folks, correct me if I'm wrong, but this will bring a 12-inch line all the way from the water tower to Frudenberg, correct? All right. Mike, any comments, anything you got, any insight?
I think it would be a great opportunity for the county to participate and be able to get a 12-inch water line all the way down Halsey Road, not only for Freudenberg, but for any other opportunities that might come along. I think it's well needed.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions?
Do we have a total as to how much money
Yes.
project's going to be?
Tom, can you step up to the plate on that one?
What's our proposal, I mean your total,
540, then their ARC at 50%.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that project, our engineer has estimated at about $540,000. ARC, the Appalachian Regional Commission, would fund 50% of that project if we meet their criteria for their grant. And they seem to like the project, so they are encouraging us to apply.
Do you still feel comfortable and confident that we work together and get this done, that the grant approval can be done in 2018?
Yes, as far as I know, applications are due April 13th. The review period is through June. They send it to the governor for his signature. It goes to DC, but they feel confident that we would have our funds before the year is out.
For the end of 2018.
Yes, sir. That would put us right in line to kind of let the project along with DOT phase 3.
Phase 3, that would work great. Gentlemen, I think we've got an opportunity to solidify a relationship with Frudenberg. They employ around 600 employees. Partner with the city of Cleveland. I know we've had our differences over the years and various boards over the decades, but there's got to be a common ground that we can all agree on something about, and I think the largest private employer of county is a good ground to find some common ground about.
Yeah, we put ourselves into this project already, so I think we just need to step up and do our part. We said, we told the city we would do it. We'd have to.
All right. Commissioner Goodyear, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but would you?
Yes, I will.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we approve the expenditure of $100,000 for to aid the city of Cleveland in this proposed water service upgrade on the Appalachian Parkway. And that's funding to come from, I think, can we take it from SPLOST? I think we can take that from SPLOST, so that'd be my motion.
All right.
And do we know what percentage that would be?
You know what?
Percentage-wise, what percentage would that be that would participate on that?
It looks like to me it would be about 30%.
They're going to match 270.
They got 270 that they're going to put up.
18.5% of the total project cost.
18.5% of the total project.
18.
That's the total project.
Yeah, total, but you're getting 270 grant.
The total project, I think that's grant money.
Yeah, that's about 36%.
36%.
Okay. So for description purposes, a third. Okay. All right.
Dollar-wise, it's 270 that it's costing. We're going to put up 100,000.
All right. All right. I have a motion, Commissioner Goodyear. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All right. We have a second. Any other discussion? Point of clarification, we take out of the 2014 SPLOST funding. We have accumulated out of our debt service account. I've run some numbers. I think we're able to pull those numbers out of our debt service account. We've accumulated more than we actually need to cover our debt service. I think we could easily pull $100,000. I currently show as of February the 28th, 1.2 million. $1,277,863.50 in that fund, so we can pay that out of that, and we're also setting aside an additional $100,000 a month toward our debt service, so that will not impact, should not impact our ability to make a P&I payment interest payment in June, principal and interest payment in December.
I got a question on how this is broke down. Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first phase of what they've done on the last stage of the bypass, the water lines that were put in there. From where that's upgrade stopped, you're planning, the DOT will be paying for the labor and all from that point forward. All the city will be doing will be paying the upgrade on the pipe from 8 to 12 inch, correct?
Yeah, from where phase 2 ended, back to the water tank.
Do you have any idea what kind of footage that is?
I've got it's 7,600. I've got a file back, but we calculated based on that linear footage.
You know, guys, I won't be the bad guy for just a minute. Probably the bad guy for the rest of the week now. But if you guys remember 8 years ago, there was, when we built the jail, we put $500,000 into a sewer line that we was told would not have to, anything be done to it but lowered on top of the hill. Now they're moving it, my understanding is, they're moving it to the other side of the road, is that right, Tom? At the DOT's expense? Well, that's still a lot of taxpayer dollars being paid to do something twice in 8 years. And it leaves kind of a bad taste in my mouth because it's all about money. Man, I'm tight as a bark on the tree anyways. But I just wanted to remind the board that we had invested, you know, $500,000 into a sewer line, and I think we paid to have MLK and Baker Man. I think we paid all the reconnection. What comes? I think we did.
I can address that. DOT provided that guidance and told them at the time that line would not be moved to the other side.
And that's what I'm saying. Now all of a sudden DOT's willing to abandon a line that we just put in 8 years ago because it's on the wrong side of the road. Why didn't they tell us 8 years ago it was on the wrong side of the road?
Yeah. And we're being required to pay for the engineering to move it across.
That's another point I was fixing to get to. There's some more money. There's some more money being thrown out.
Right.
Anyway, I mean, I know we got to invest in this community, and I don't have a problem investing in this community. I just want to make sure that we don't have to turn around and invest again. On the same, and 4 more years on the same project.
I don't know how you're gonna be able to outguess them though if they.
Well, you can't outguess.
See, that's one of the challenges on the whole bypass project, or Parkway, is how many staff members at the DOT have changed over the last, not just 8 years, but 25 years, when this whole project started being designed and what have you. It depends on who woke up, what side of the bed. And there are a lot of folks downtown who've never come to Cleveland, Georgia and seen where actually the dirt's supposed to be moved.
Tom, has DOT confirmed to y'all that that there's not going to be a problem with upgrading that pipe as far as the labor's concerned with them? Have they committed to you?
They've given us instructions of what needs to be done. We are engineering it to a 12-inch line.
Okay.
The only difference is when the project's let, we have to pay the cost difference versus what the automatic aid estimate was.
Okay. And that's figured into this price that we're looking at.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, gentlemen, let's close discussion. We got a motion, a second. Participate with the city of Cleveland up to $100,000 on the upgrade from 8-inch to 12-inch line, in particular to feed Halsey Road and continue the relationship with Frudenberg and OK. All right, motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. All right, that's a 5-0 vote. Thomas, we'll go back to the city of Cleveland. Let them know.
I sure will. For the record, the mayor and council thanks you very much for your participation and support of this project. We all know the importance of this industry to this community. We all know the importance of this corridor and the capacity that we're building for the future. And it's very important for the, I guess, future funding and growth. And we appreciate your help. We look forward to providing an area for growth and development. And
well, for the record, I appreciate you guys getting on the stick.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Maybe not that, maybe quite that official record to say it that quite that way.
We understand what you mean. Thank you.
Just clarification, the 12-inch line that you're approving work on, does that cover the entire third phase of the project there?
The upgrade for phase 3 will be a 12-inch line instead of an 8-inch line.
I understand that,
Let me
but
bring it from the water tank,
From the water tank to the end of Hulsey Road.
okay.
will be 12-inch line.
Right. All right. I just want to make sure.
Are they gonna allow you to hang on to the bridge, or you gonna have to, go through the
We're talking with them right now. We're hoping we can get in with the existing project, but we haven't heard back from that contractor yet, so.
Have you had a chance to speak with Mr. Bennett, Clayton Bennett, with the roads and bridges, the bridges side?
Not recently.
Okay.
As short as that span is, they could always bridge that if they had to.
Right.
They could always put a bridge and just.
When's that bridge work scheduled?
June.
This June?
Yeah. What we're talking about, Roy Head Bridge, what we most of us know is Roy Head Bridge, is going to be under reconstruction for a 3-week period, and so it's going to be completely shut down. And we're going to, the county has partnered with this, with the DOT, and we're going to allow them to use. And most of our locals are going to do this anyway. We're going to route folks down Tasman Gap Valley Road. DOT they were going to officially route folks up alternate 75 to Robertstown, to come back down State Route 75 to get back to Cleveland. I mean, that's going down the mountain until you get to your elbow. And we felt like that just didn't make any sense whatsoever. So 3 weeks we can be a good partner. So anyway.
Thank you very much.
Tom, I know y'all got a meeting tonight, don't you?
Yeah, thank you.
They don't have one?
No, I don't think so.
Tom, come back in here. You need a second. Folks, I'm trying to bring a little light in the room here. All right. Item 10, consider approval for proceeding with the proposal and evaluation process for an enhanced 911 phone switch and system to be funded from designated 2014 SPLOST funds by the end of the current calendar year. Mr. Murphy, you have the hill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board, I'm just asking, requesting that you allow us to start the selection and evaluation process on our current 911 telephone switch and system, which was originally installed in 2007 when we did the upgrade into 911. And Mr. Bryant, you asked me if it would last 10 years, and so I've got you one extra out of that.
I'll ask for 20.
Due to several changes in that particular company or this particular product, it's no longer, the company is no longer in business. Now, we have contracted with a provider that provided maintenance for them for the last 3 or 4 years just to keep it up and going, but we're getting to the point that it's becoming concerning to me that we could lose that server at any point in time. I asked Robert to be here if you needed any technical questions, because the server we're using is the oldest server in operation now. So I just don't want to take a chance on losing that and us being down for quite some time.
I don't know if we're smart enough to ask that type of technical question.
Well, I just thought I'd bring the backup. I know I'm not smart enough to answer for you. So, basically, what I'm asking to do is us go out for RFP solicitation. This is going to be a several months in the process. Once we decide on a product that we believe that will bring the services into White County that we need, also be based on the new national standards with next generation 911 that you may have heard at some of your meetings or read about through the ACCG. We're just looking at going ahead and making that step forward. My initial thoughts is that we can have a proposal to you guys by the end of August that we can issue a contract on. Once a contract is issued, it takes 2 to 4 months, depending on the particular product, to have it ready for delivered and installed. So we're talking about the end of this calendar year having this product.
Are you aware of any other counties that have upgraded their system, what you're proposing here? And if so, are they seeing prices escalate like we're seeing a lot of like dirt removal, dirt? And
Yeah,
paving?
absolutely. The first initial estimate I got on this a couple of years ago was less than 200,000. Now we're looking at 250, 260,000 for the project. The other counties around us have already started changing their systems out. Lumpkin's done, Hall's done, Dawson's finished. I think Habersham's got theirs finished out, and Banks County is getting ready to do their install now. So a lot of counties around us have already done this and taken these initiatives. We had forethought back when 2014 SPLOST was being presented that we had this as a SPLOST project added into this SPLOST program, so we wouldn't have to come out of general fund for it. So the funding mechanism is there. It's just at whatever time we decide to make that an opportunity.
Jim, how do you feel about going out for RFP?
I don't mind getting a price. It seems like it's an issue, these companies that, you know, same thing at the courthouse. I mean, we buy it today, next week, and then week after that, they're going out of business. And I hope somebody will bid it's got a longevity of some backup.
We're certainly going to look at somebody who's been in the business for quite some, and this particular company had been in for several years and sold out, and then that, you know, how that
it happens.
Is any of the other counties being serviced by the same company?
Yes. Most of all of Northeast Georgia counties were served by this same company at one point in time.
Ooh, so he ain't the only one out there.
Oh, no. Well, we're the only one left. Everybody else has done swapped theirs out. We're the only one left on this particular project. But yeah, we all had them at one time. That was Standard Telephone was the provider, and everybody built their 911 centers in the early 90s. This was the main, this old company was the main company that provided that service.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and let him get his prices.
Okay, got a motion to go get prices. I'll just keep it simple.
Yeah, second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed say no. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. And
Aren't we done? Aren't we finished?
no, when he doesn't move, you know he's gonna be here for a while.
I only will be here as long as you ask questions.
Okay, item 11, consider authorizing the county manager to execute grant documents for the required hazard mitigation plan update to be funded at a county cost of $1,800 in fiscal year 19 grant fund.
Every 5 years, we have to do a multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. And we have, with the recent storms, Hurricane Irma particularly, we were able to apply for some federal grant money to go ahead and get our planning process started. Now, we will not start the planning process till after July 1, and we have till we have till June the 30th of 2020 to finish our plan, finish this grant process. The out-of-pocket cost to White County will be $1,800, and that will probably, and more than likely, will come out of the in-kind match. That will not be in cash match, because there's going to be a lot of staff hours, not just in my department, but public works, planning, and there'll be some city folks involved in this as well. So this will, our local share will be in kind. The total grant package is $12,000, $9,000 coming from federal government, state government puts in $1,200, and ours is $18,000. So your favorable consideration allowed the county manager to execute these grant documents.
Keep it simple. Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Bryant first, Commissioner Goodger second. Any discussion? Just a point of clarification, $1,800 is not the wrong we're here, it's the execution of the contract documents. Yes. That's the authorization why I had to come before the board. Closed discussion. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye, opposed say no. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 12, consider acceptance of Shepherd Drive for county road maintenance. Mr. Hunt, you got the hill?
Mr. Chairman, as you know, we've been working on getting easements on Shepherd Drive, and we have managed to get all the one easement, and I think we can work around that. And it was discussed to bring this before the board, ask the board to officially consider acceptance of Shepherd Drive for county maintenance. And then we can, at that point, then we can talk about the county, if we want to pave it, what we're going to do in that sense.
Well, for those in the audience that know what we're talking about, Shepherd Drive, that little, what? 900 feet that shoots off the Parkway, that shoots over to Claude Sims Road. That DOT, I want to say this, we appreciate the state's investment in our county. We really do.
Sure.
But how in the world the state authorized the access of a private drive, being Shepherd Drive, for the construction of the project made absolutely no sense. So what has happened, now folks are using Shepherd Drive directly off the Parkway to get to the pre-K, which is on the county road. So it's become a
Bumper to bumper to bumper, twice tonight.
This is a road that we normally probably wouldn't have taken this road if it's still dead end, but because it's a connector road now, it's got a lot higher priority.
And also, it's extenuating circumstances. The state backed us into a corner. No pun intended, but.
Well, I have opened up the lines of communication with some folks on the board, so.
But you haven't seen no cash yet?
No, but I've had some behind the scenes kind of obligations, so I just really need to get them, really need to get a reasonable number that we can talk about too then. But now, I mean, if we're talking, I thought we had all the signatures.
All but one.
Well, how can we vote to take a road if we don't have all the signatures?
Well, we can work, we've got enough room on the other side of the road to move the road over.
Now, which way are we talking about moving it, south or north?
On the south.
Well, now that creates a.
That's
a
why the
money
power
problem.
poles.
That creates $48,000 worth of problems right off the bat.
They had to
Who
move
is
it
it?
anyway.
Who is it?
What, yeah, I want
Let's just
to.
put it blunt.
Cantrell.
Cantrell?
Have you
He
talked to
doesn't even
him?
live, there's no home there. He just property. He just said
What's the
he's
reason?
done with it. GDOT took him for a ride and he's just not gonna sign it.
We took him for a ride.
No, GDOT.
GDOT.
Okay. We're trying to clean the mess up.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's how fix it. Come on, go finish it.
Who is it?
What, the problem I see is the initial road, Shepherd Drive, was built on the north side, away from the poles. The ditches were between the poles and the road. And over the years, they just kept an inching south with the road. And then when the contractor went out there and put all that milling down, they covered up some culverts out there and filled in on the field side of that and made it look like we had a big super highway out through there when they didn't stay in the footprint of the original road. If they'd stayed in the footprint of the original road, the poles wouldn't be a problem, the compaction wouldn't be a problem, and the ditches wouldn't be a problem. So,
I know we're getting off. In this same vein, what are you planning to pave? 20 foot?
Yes, minimum. There's a lot of traffic going through there.
and you're planning on moving it to get away from the guy that won't give?
Well, just a little, we're not moving it a lot. We're gonna, right now it's 18 feet, 17 feet. We just need some room, okay? If we tackle it ourselves, we might maybe not have to move the poles, but we really need to move the poles because of all the traffic. We want to be away from those poles.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we table this. This is going to, we gotta do something different here.
Motion to table. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that. I'll like to look at it too.
Okay.
I'd like to say, I'd like to tell Dave I appreciate their getting out on Shepherd Drive out there and getting that road fixed. It was deteriorating to the point that you couldn't really go up and down it. You had to stop. People were almost having to drive out of the way to go around some of those holes. So appreciate you getting out and getting on that real quick because there's a lot of traffic. It goes about 100 cars a day go over the Head Start or more. So
Twice today.
yeah, more than twice today. Yeah.
Twice today. All right, motion to table for just the beginning. I'd encourage all the board to go out there and I've been through there. I went through there Friday, and I will go out there with somebody, and I will better understand this now.
If I remember, we took the DOT out there, we took the district engineer.
Sure
We
did.
took some folks out of there.
Let's vote on the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye, opposed, say no. All right, we'll table that, we'll bring it up at the next meeting, that'll give us a few weeks to get out there and take a look at that. I think we all agree, we don't need a super highway out there, and I'm not trying to throw no one under the bus, and I think y'all know our wishes. We don't need a super highway, but then moving power poles, $48,000, that's cost more than the road does.
Yeah, the paving
So,
was about $20-something.
yeah, that's not, we'll get out there and take a look at it, so. All right, moving on, item 13. Consider surplus of a 2007 asphalt distributor truck, 2007 International 1,900-gallon Leroy Roscoe Max 2 distributor body for sale to Stevens County Board of Commissioners with proceeds to be designated for the road department's purchase of equipment.
Thank you. Well, staff and I took the opportunity to assess the surplus, this 2007 International asphalt distributor truck. We haven't used it since November 2015. Since we had no further use for it, we found out that Stevens County did have use for it, which is really cool. I hate seeing something just sit around, okay?
Well, you too.
Yeah.
Sound me like they take it out on Shepherd Drive, pay Shepherd pay that 900 foot before we sell it.
That might be my plan. I don't know.
Maybe before this is over with.
Go ahead, Dave.
Thank you.
We'll get you frustrated here in a minute.
We called around, Stevens County called around, and we got some good prices for it, just to make sure that we can get the right price for this. So we got about 70 grand for the $70,000 to be able to sell this, which is great. That's a great price. They agreed on that, and they got it approved on their commission, okay? So,
Trust in that man standing right there. Sound like an awful lot of money. I don't know where it's a good price, but it sound like a ton of money.
doesn't matter, it's all good. Okay.
Go buy that one.
Think you can squeeze 80 out of them?
I'm grateful for 70. I mean, I was gonna come a little lower, but I'm not gonna go there. I love it. Okay. Upon approval of the surplus vehicle, I've been working with David, and we'd like to trade his 2016 F-150 to the road department. In return, no, this is good. We want to purchase a 2018 four-wheel drive Chevy Tahoe with a state concession price of $36,013 from Jackie Jones. Also, we'd like to purchase a 2019 four-wheel drive F-250 crew cab state concession price of $27,095.84, also from Jackie Jones. That one will be used for the road department to replace our 1994 F-350, 142,000 miles. Floors rusted out, doors rusted out, transmission's going. So that would help us out with vehicles. So staff recommended approval of $63,108.84 to purchase 2 vehicles from Jackie Jones using surplus money. Possibly using the remainder of the $6,892 to outfit the vehicles and/or other vehicles in our fleet.
Okay, because I don't have that in our package. Go over the Tahoe numbers again.
Tahoe numbers was $36,013, state contract price, state concession from Jackie Jones, and a 2019 F-250 for $27,095.84, also from Jackie Jones.
And folks in the audience, if you're wondering why these aren't going out for bid, if it's under a state contract, state law allows us to go under a state contract. That's why, correct?
Yes, sir.
What year was the Tahoe, I'm sorry?
What year? 18, 2018.
And who's the Tahoe gonna be driven by?
Mr. Murphy.
And can I ask why you want such a high dollar car?
It's not, that's the size that we're looking at for, if you remember a couple years ago, we presented a package where we was wanting to have an instant command operation out of the back of a vehicle, and that's the size vehicle that thing fits in.
Okay, let's get back to the F-250. That's, we'll go to the road department, correct?
Yes, sir.
Back me up past a couple of 3 months ago, we bought all that equipment. I thought we replaced one truck that got wrecked and bought you new one for that one. So this, you got I thought we were about caught up on all of the
No,
new
sir, we're not
trucks.
caught up. That went to one of the mowing crews. That was the truck for the mowing crew.
But we're not mowing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No disrespect. That's not, so anyway, go ahead.
Okay. But they also use that truck to go out and do stuff during the winter time. They have 3 or 4 people go out together and they go out and do that too. So that truck goes for the mowing crew. This is going to go for the construction crew, which is to replace that freight train that they're driving that's really old. So slowly but surely we're trying to replace all the vehicles that we have that have really run down. This is really
Go
helpful.
along the slowly part, not go along the surely part.
The F-250 is a cabin chassis?
It's a crew cab, 4-wheel driving.
Okay.
Diesel?
No, gas.
Just a regular pickup value,
Yeah,
doesn't have to do a lot.
these are vehicles that we need, absolutely need.
No disrespect.
And
It'd be
that's
nice if you'd have had that
money.
in there with this so we could have seen that instead of whipping it on us. David, these numbers with the vehicles that you're looking at, like I say, no
I
disrespect.
apologize, we've been dealing with
Well, I
Jack
know
and Joe.
that.
It's very difficult to get prices fast.
See, but like I say, now, I hate to be the horse's petite, but you ask, and you whip this on us and you want to vote right then. It's like, it'd be nice to see something 24 hours before. I mean, it's like I just got the price 30 minutes ago, so I need to get a vote on it. Like I say, I ain't gnawing your rear, I'm just telling you how I feel.
Apologize.
Something we can do. This is 2 transactions. We got the asphalt spreader, the paver. And then, and the feeling I'm getting up here, table the other to the next meeting.
Yeah, let's sell the asphalt spreader before we back out.
I gotta ask, sometimes you serve long enough, you start getting a little, what am I trying to say here?
Bad attitude?
Yeah.
Except for not trying to have a bad attitude?
Yeah, we buy equipment, we don't use it. This is not a reflection on you,
Yeah,
Dave, I don't want you to take it that way, but we have, this board is elected by the citizens to have a responsibility financially to, when we buy equipment, if we don't use it, and I appreciate the fact you came to us and said we've not used this paver now in 2.5 years. That's frustrating. Knowing we've got equipment we haven't touched that long. And that's not a reflection upon you, I'm just saying, how many hours we have on that thing? Probably slim to none, I'd say.
200 miles. Okay? And with all due respect, I'm running this department to get stuff that we need, not that we don't need. So,
Do
we
we
don't
buy
use
that
it,
new
we don't
in-
want to use it, excuse me?
Do we buy that new in 07?
105,000, 2007, yes, sir.
What year model is the paver? 2007?
Yeah, we can turn and look at you on this one, buddy. We weren't here.
I can only remember when David comes up here and asks for $500,000 every year. I can't remember beyond that.
We get the truck out of it, he said,
Okay, all right. Okay, Dave, don't take us. We're not shooting the messenger. We're trying to digest all this. So
Is
let's.
that distributor what they used to put all that triple surface down with?
Yes,
Yeah, that was during the triple surface era.
yeah, and people don't like that.
Don't defend him, Chad.
Yeah.
I'm just
But,
putting perspective on it.
okay. All right.
Like I said, I apologize if I come off wrong. It's just aggravating. I mean, and I'm just telling you how I feel, so.
All right, well, let's do this. Do we have a motion to sell let's get it right
I'll
here.
make a motion that we sell the 2007 asphalt distributor truck.
Along with the Lee Boy Roscoe distributor, the whole shooting match, okay? Commissioner Hawk, a motion to sell the 07 asphalt distributor truck, which is the 07 International and 1,900 gallon Lee Boy Roscoe 2 Max 2 distributor body to Stevens County for $70,000. Commissioner Hawkins first, is there a second?
I'll second, just so you ain't mad at you.
Second, any other discussion?
Selling and buying's two different things.
Terry, you got anything?
No.
Yeah, okay. All right, closed discussion, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say no, motion carries.
I was just wondering if you wanted to buy anything else while they was there.
No, hush. Let's do this. Let's, in our next packet, let's get all that information regarding the Tahoe and the F-250 in our packet. And we'll just hold the $70,000 till that next meeting, and the board make a decision at that time. I would like to think, with the relationship we have with Jackie Jones, their prices should be good for 2 to 3 weeks, I would like to think. So.
Are the trucks on the lot, do they have them installed?
No, that's new fleet.
All right.
Both of them are 19.
18, 19, and
Tahoe's
they're both-
18,
they're
and
both
250 is
nine,
19.
Took about 12 weeks.
Okay. All right, Shanda, Mike, do we have a motion to table the other request, because it wasn't even on our, it wasn't even on.
No.
Okay.
That was just the, I think what Dave was asking, that those funds be directed to the road department to purchase new equipment. And that was his proposal.
Okay.
To do so.
Well, I said I'm not gonna relook at it, but we wanna look at the numbers a little closer, so, all right?
Okay.
All right. Dave, you sit down now.
Thank you.
Folks, we like Dave. We wouldn't give him a hard time if we didn't. All right, moving on to item 14. Consider approval of the White County Superior Court misdemeanor probation contract with Northeast Georgia Probation Services, Inc. Do you have the deal on that, Mike?
Mr. Keith Ward from Probation Services is here, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Ward?
Make
Come on
that
down.
presentation.
As he's making his way, I just want to make sure for the record clarification, this is not the probation issue that we had come up a couple of years ago, Mr. Melton, with that agency? Okay, I want to make sure. Mr. Ward?
Good afternoon, Chairman Turner and Commissioners. As I'm sure you gentlemen are aware, part of Governor Deal's criminal justice reform platform has been to make some updates with probation, both felony and misdemeanor, throughout the state over the last 3 or 4 years. Several new pieces of legislation have been passed starting in 2015, which created the Georgia Department of Community Supervision. Long story short, with the creation of the Department of Community Supervision, they have enacted new rules that regulate misdemeanor probation in the state of Georgia. One of those rules requires that misdemeanor probation service agreements be updated to more accurately reflect current law, and that's simply what this contract revision does. It's an update of an existing contract that with this already in place. It's been approved by Chief Judge Miller and the district attorney, and we just simply ask that it be approved.
Is this going to cost us any more money?
Costs $0 to the county. It's an offender-funded program. Those people that are placed.
You're already ahead now.
I'll stop.
I got a question.
Yes.
I'm just sitting here reading this, I've read it before. So you're in charge of when they come in to take their drug test or alcohol test?
Yes, sir.
They're gonna pay you the probation just every month, whatever it is, $10, $20, whatever.
Correct.
All right, and then are you responsible when they pay to send the money back out to the victims?
Yes, sir.
All right, how's that going? Because I know for a fact, when I got hit 10, 12 years ago, I was gonna get paid back my $10,000, and I have yet to see a 0 dimes on that. And I'm telling you, I hear that all over the county, and I'm not saying your companies, this is prior, so how's the collection and distribution going out on that?
We're required by state law, probation in general, to collect and apply funds to restitution first over any other money that's owed by an offender. I know in the fourth quarter 2017, we collected approximately $36,000 in fines for the county and about $4,000 in restitution for the county.
You're getting yours up front, and then what's left I guess it's what's my biggest complaint from here from the taxpayers. The probation people are getting paid, they're paying their probation, but the victims is ones on the back leg. So I just, like I said, I'm not dogging you either, I just, trying to get clarification.
Well, it's a $36 a month probation supervision fee. Yes,
I mean, I know it's next to nothing they pay, and it takes a long time to pay some back, but I just, curious if you was in charge of that, getting that back to the victims, if there's any left over. That makes sense, am I explaining this correctly?
Yes, sir. I mean, we do our dead level best, believe me, to collect every.
Well, I know, you can't get blood out of turn, so. I'm just curious. And you can't do it.
You just have to take that.
Yeah, I'm just out 10,000.
All right. Gentlemen, you've heard the request. Do I have a motion to approve the updated probationary contract?
Motion to approve the contract.
Commissioner Hawkins first. Is there a second? I'm sorry, Commissioner Nix first. I'm sorry, my bad.
I'll second.
I was going ahead and speaking as if they already were. So, all right, second. That's biblical, by the way. Any other discussion? All right, have none in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And Phil, if you need to leave, we understand. You don't have to hang out here all night long.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. I appreciate what you do. Item 15, consider board appointments to the White County Water Authority and the White County Development Authority. We have letters of recommendation from the Water Authority. And I'm under the assumption that Commissioner Nix, you will be excusing yourself
I
from
will
this.
be excusing myself from the vote on that.
I will too, I guess, because I'm on that board too.
I don't think you Okay. Water Authority recommends Michael Mays and David Seals be reappointed to the White County Water Authority. Gentlemen, do you have any issues besides Vicki? Do you guys have any issues with that reappointment? If you do, we'll need to go out and advertise for those positions.
I'm good.
Is that in the form of a motion?
I'll make a motion, we reappoint Mr. Mays and Mr. Seals to the Water Authority.
Commissioner Hawkins, motion? Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Ms. Vicki, are you sure you're fine with this? Okay. Just make sure.
She'd like me to be on every board in the county to get me out of the house.
All right, we'll close discussion, but this goes south. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye, opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, we also have positions on the White County Development Authority that are up. We have, just as a point of clarification, we have a member who passed away earlier in the year, Mr. Wilkes, as well as my understanding is Mr. Oliver is going to be retiring off this board
At the end of June.
at the end of June, as well as with Mr. Tom O'Brien's move to the city of Cleveland, that he'll be coming off the Development Authority. So we have 3 positions that we need to either advertise. We do have a couple of applications in our packet. Mr. Mobley, who we just recently appointed to the Building Authority. Correct, Ms. Shandon?
That's correct.
Okay. So we just recently put Mr. Mobley on the board. The other application from a then we also have a Mr. Michael Muse.
Yeah, I talked to his wife Saturday, and I told her I need to get with him and talk with him.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we go out for advertisement for these 3 positions? Let's advertise those and see what kind of response we get. Ms. Shanda, are you seeing these type of boards, the applications slowing down from what we saw about a year ago? Or we still have to.
The boards that are more active, that the community sees out there, you know, like the Park and Rec Board and things like that, I always get more applications for those, whereas, you know, Development Authority, Building Authority, folks don't really know, you know, what they're doing. They just kind of may meet on a routine basis. So, yeah, it's difficult. But we'll put it out there. I'll go ahead and put all the other mid-year openings on that as well. So we'll just do it all at one time and
Okay.
bring them all back before you.
Jim, I'll share this with you. I had the opportunity to meet with two members of the Development Authority, Mr. Ford and Mr. Erbley, a couple of weeks ago, and they're just adamantly wanting to get involved in the project, and they're needing guidance from us as a board on some projects possibly for them to get involved in. So we'll be, in the next few weeks, we'll be coming up with some thoughts and ideas, as well as they're going to be petitioning. The Development Authority received its funding years ago from when a Board of Commissioners years ago sold the remaining lots in the industrial park. That's what this entity has been operating off of, and those funds are essentially being paid for attorney and accountants. Is that sound about right? And they're wanting to become more than just a figurehead board. They want a project, so we need to put our heads together. I've got some thoughts and ideas, but not prepared yet to bring that forward on some projects that they could be working on hopefully in the future. So, Ms. Shannon, if you'll go out for bid, go out for advertising, I'm sorry. Advertising for those positions, please. All right. Item 16. Ms. Jody Liggum to present our monthly financial status report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This will be the financial report for February 2018. The revenues collected for the month were $534,271. Expenditures were $1,149,535. Year to date, that puts the revenues at 13.78 and expenditures at 10.65. Meaning we have received 81% of our projected revenues and we have spent 63% of our projected expenses. For the month of February, we should be right at 66. For the alcohol taxes and fees, for the 8 months of this fiscal year, we have collected a total of $91,841, and that puts us at 80% collected, the projected budget. The TAVIC tax collected for February is $80,747. That's a total of $578,280 for this budget year collected, which puts us at 74% received. The lost amount received for February was $184,527. That puts us at a total of $1,764,804 collected for this budget year. Hotel motel received for the month of February was down a little bit compared to the other months at $47,528. However, you can see for the past 2 years, we're still above collections on that. That puts us at a total of $651,908, and we are 93% received our collections. I think we briefly discussed the February numbers, SPLOST numbers last month, but February is the 39th month out of the 72-month SPLOST period. Receipts were $307,546. Both Cleveland and Helen received $39,581 each, which put into the county project fund $125,308. We have not received the March numbers yet. I hope to receive those by Wednesday, and I will forward those to Mr. Melton to pass along. the total SPLOST receipts for calendar year 2018 is $681,347. For the total 2014 SPLOST, we have received $12,668,553. And the last slide is just the breakdown of the other funds: solid waste, 911, drug task force, and the ANOTA circuit. And unless you have questions or comments, that concludes my presentation.
Ms. Jody, thank you. Those in the audience who, just so at the beginning of our slide, the county's revenues are heavy in the first couple of quarters. That's when our property taxes come in. So just a FYI, that's when we get a bulk of our money. So we'll start, we hope not, but we're being real. We'll start seeing that those numbers get a little closer to each other on the very bottom as we get closer to June. But we want to be spending less than we're taking in. We won't be spending less. Yeah, that's right. I'd say that again to make sure I said it right. That would be phenomenal. All right. Any questions, Miss Jody, guys? All right. Thank you. Mr. Melton, any comments, any things we need to discuss?
I have two things, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to advise the board that over the last month or so, I've gotten a total of 29 5-pays from the Sheriff's Department that are about to go dormant or have gone dormant. It's a total of $41,863. It's anywhere from $35 to $7,000 on various 5-pays. My only question to the board is if they want these renewed or want to allow them to go dormant. If you want them renewed, I can get with the county attorney, and she told me she can probably do one document to renew them.
Why would we not want to renew them?
Well, I understand. That's the board's decision whether you want to renew them or not. So
yes.
You want to
renew?
Okay. You want to do that in a motion?
I'll make the motion. That's what it takes.
And I'll second.
All right, Commissioner Bryant motion, Commissioner Nick second. Motion to renew 29 5-pays in the amount of $41,863. Any other discussion? Have none, on favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you.
The second item, Mr. Chairman, I will pass these out. You've seen all these numbers before. This is just as I'd like to get a little guidance from the board. We've got Dave here who can help answer some questions on these roads. As you know, we committed and approved the projects Top Stanley, Next Sam, Caribbean, Joe Franklin, and Malden Road have all been approved. We're currently working on those, and you can see the status of those roads there. The additional projects that we discussed on 1030 but have not been approved, and we held off, as you know, on bidding these roads out because of the SPLOST dollars and the park project. We wanted to see where the park project came in, and as you know, it came in very well. So we probably have enough money. Looks like we're going to have enough money to do these projects, but I wanted to come back before the board and get your thoughts on them. If you want to go ahead, if we want to go ahead and start the bidding process and get these bid out, we will do that immediately. We do have a couple of issues, particularly on one that's already been approved, which is Joe Franklin Road. We've got an easement issue on it. And we've also got some easement issues on Dandy Lane as well. And of course, Shepherd Drive is down at the bottom, and obviously, we'll come back and talk about that at the next meeting. As far as how you want to, whether you want to consider adopting that road and paving.
What's the deal on Dandy Lane? Was the one on the right going up the hill?
Yes, sir.
That one house right there?
We're ready across from Marriott. We haven't trouble getting easement in that.
Well, what's the, it's not the, I mean, I'm just asking. The guy's got the motel, he's got to have the road up to his corner lot anyway, and that's right in front of us. Has he not got the room on the left offset this issue? I mean, not making any sense.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure what they're doing on that. I mean, he should have already approved it already.
Okay, I'll bring me up to speed here. I missed
That's the
that.
motel on Dandy Lane.
Yes.
You got the little house on the right, and that's the one he said is not wanting to do the issue, he's having problems with the easement. But the gentleman that's got the motel on the left, I thought we talked about, I mean, he's gonna have to get a road in there before the city of Helen is gonna give him opportunity to open anyway.
So you're saying let him give?
Well, we're talking about easements beyond, beyond his,
Okay, I didn't hear that part.
beyond his property.
Yes.
That's what I was.
Yes.
That is his problem. That's the motel's problem.
Exactly.
But there's an easement on the right after you get past his property.
Yes.
But you gotta get past his to get to that.
That's the Reese property.
Reese.
Reese.
So does that make it up to the corner of Terry Sims' property and
Yes.
Helen?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's beyond that?
It's beyond that.
Okay, so, but is there an issue, a real big issue between 75 and the Helen property where they go into the shop? Because, you know, we told the city of Helen that we was gonna possibly do that one thing, and then we would have to go from there. So I'm just trying to figure if Terry Sims has got enough on the left that he's willing to work with, that we can at least make it from A to B. I mean, if we don't get B to C, then it is. We didn't promise them, we said we was gonna do it, but we also promised City of Helen would at least get up to the shop.
If we can get Reese permission, we can get up to it, yes. There's only 12 feet right there.
Yeah. Well, Under Terry said he wants to work with us. and I know-
Terry's cool. We're
Yeah.
good. Terry and I are cool.
We're working on that, but I want to make the board aware of that.
Yeah.
And if we want to go ahead and bid these other, both the gravel road upgrades and the asphalt roads, we want those bid out. I just need to know that. We spent about $350,000 here tonight. Encumbered that much.
I think we need to take this up to next work session. This is a lot to digest. You don't take this up next work session?
Yeah. No.
Just know these things.
We raining still on here?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking like no here pertains to me, but y'all all think me, I'll give them from y'all.
It's got all your roads already paved.
Yeah, you got all your.
It's got water.
Hey, 15 miles of Gene Diggs Road, you can't say a whole lot. It's not 15 miles for the record, it was a joke. Okay. All right, let's put this on the next work session for
Okay,
discussion.
Mr. Chairman, the next page is the LMIG. As you know, we're working on getting Town Creek Bridge, and I still don't have any paperwork from the state on that, but we're working on getting Town Creek Bridge put on the state bridge program. And this is the road department's recommendations to spend the LMIG money for this year. Go back and do the 2 bridges on New Bridge Road, and then do 3.3 miles of paving on Westmoreland Road from 129 to 254. That'd be great.
Well, let me share this, and after the meeting, afterwards, the media can follow up with you more directly. We had requested that the state review Town Creek Road Bridge because of the, we're talking about $1.2 to $1.4 million approximately, and that project in itself is astronomical for a county our size. And the DOT originally built that road in 1958. Am I right on that? We requested the state review that under those premises that they had originally the ones who had built the road, and they have agreed to review that, and we've received some preliminary approvals. Our staff is working with the state about the state taking that project completely over, and therefore allowing the county to use our funds over on New Bridge Road bridges, those two bridges, as well as Westmoreland Road, correct? So that's just a little FYI for the folks. And Debbie, Bill, Dean, if you guys want to follow back up with Mike when we get hard data, but we may get a tremendous blessing out of the state if they were to take over Town Creek Road Bridge. That would be phenomenal.
We have a bunch of money for us on the rail.
It'd be a praise God.
So if you want to take a look at those LME recommendations, and we can talk about that at the next meeting as well.
All right, we'll do that. All right, thank you. All right, at this time, and I failed to announce at the beginning, we do have an executive session after this meeting. At this time, I'm going to open the floor up for citizen participation. You got any comments, concerns? If you would, please give us your name and address so we can get Ms. Shannon can get it on official record. And if we don't have the answers tonight, we'll do our best to do so in the coming days. And I don't see the Chamber of Commerce here. Normally they've got an announcement or what have you. And Miss Judy Lovell, she left. The Historical Society's not here. They were both here, but they're not here right now. Nathan, the Extension Office, anything going on?
Every day, all day.
Good answer, good answer. Any projects next few weeks you got going on?
Not until it warms up.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right, moving on. Again, just to clarify, we will not, the Board of Commissioners will not be having a meeting next week because of the items we're able to take care of this evening. We will be coming back. Matter of fact, let me share this. I know we've got to make a decision. There could be a possibility we may have to move the April 30th meeting because I'm aware some of the commissioners may be attending the ACCG annual conference at the end of April. So we may not be able to have a quorum here, so we may have to do some rescheduling. So media outlets, just keep your ears open the next couple of weeks. We'll be formulating our schedules, and we will let you guys know what's going on. And gentlemen, do you have anything before we? Okay, all right. Do I have a motion to enter an executive session? Commissioner Nix first. Second. Mr. Goodger second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Please, aye. Those opposed say no. I would like to go home tonight myself as well. So, folks, we appreciate your time. Have a good evening. At some point, it will turn 70, I understand, by the end of the week.
Praise the Lord.
Yes.